This year's Southeast European music event, SeeMe, is part of SeeDS by Webit. What is that? A revolutionary form of cooperation between music and technology. What SeeMe and Webit have in common is the digital transformation of the business. In its history, SeeMe brings together leaders from a range of roles within both industries to incite discovery, inspire change, and facilitate the growth of ideas and knowledge to keep the music industry moving forward. Today, top tech brands and experts will be on stage, ready to share their vision and ready to answer your questions. Our first speaker is a co-founder of digital distribution pioneer, The Orchard. The Orchard is the largest digital distributor in the world, with offices in more than 25 countries. As a well-recognized public speaker and lecturer, our speaker travels the world, evangelizing new business models for the digital age. He is a visiting professor at London Metropolitan University and sits on the BPI Council, the trade body for the UK music industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on stage Scot, who will reveal the myths behind the streaming services.
Good afternoon. So, just to check, any of you in the music business? All right, some of you, a couple of you. We'll get to why later. So, I started in the music business back in the late 80s, and in the 1990s, in the early 90s, I started going online, and in 95, I started working in the digital music business. So that's when computers looked like this. Does anyone remember these? So just, let me just put a little context around this. So working in the digital music business in 1995, when computers looked like this, we were connected to the internet with modems. Notice what's missing. Speakers. You couldn't actually listen to music on your computer, although you could sometimes download it, and then there weren't like headphones and speakers. Just to remind you what it was like back then. Just to see a photograph online could take 20 minutes. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, I think it's a bald guy. Yeah, tick, tick. This was the world. And the only reason I tell you this is to give you a little, is to let you know that I've been doing this a long time, and I saw all the kinds of nonsense that people were talking about in the music industry in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And now what I'm seeing is a whole new set of myths that are being created, of huge misunderstandings by people. And I'm not even sure where they get this, but once they see this information, it somehow propagates the internet, and then everyone thinks they understand it. And what I find is most people don't understand it at all. So today, I'm going to be your myth buster. And we're going to start with the first slide, which is 1 million is a lot. 1 million. Well, maybe 1 million people is a lot of people. Maybe $1 million, reasonable amount of money today. Still. But 1 million streams, 1 million YouTube views, those are not big numbers anymore. They're very small numbers. I mean, if Charlie Schmidt's cat playing the keyboard can get nearly 40 million views on YouTube, and you hear an artist complaining that, wow, 10,000 people saw my video and I didn't make any money. When you can get as many views as this cat, then come talk to me about what it means to work on the internet. Because we now live in a world where the superstar artists, their starting point is 100 million. 100 million streams of a music video, that's about what somebody should get. 1 million, nothing. Anything below that doesn't even register. And along with this, there's this myth about the streaming services. How many of you know Spotify? I should have asked the other. Anyone not heard of Spotify? Yeah, okay. So everyone knows Spotify, and everyone sees the reports how it doesn't make any money. The payouts are tiny. It's little pennies. How can an artist survive in this world? There's this one guy, I don't mean to pick on him, but he's very critical, Tom McRae, of the streaming services. And when I look, I don't know if you can see it, you know, he gets 260,000 streams of his biggest song, and he's wondering why he's not making a lot of money. And he's blaming the streaming services as if that is something worthy of a lot of money. I think what we start to see is people are having trouble with math. And I was never even that good at math in school. But the problem is not that they don't know how to do math, it's they're using the wrong math. You have to measure things the right way. You know, for instance, let's say I want to go from here to the airport, right? I want to get in a car, drive from this event to the airport. So in order to know how long that's going to take me, I should use a little simple math. So I need to know the distance from here to the airport, and then what if I measured the weight of the automobile? I could measure the weight of my automobile, and it would give me a very accurate measurement. It would be exactly how much it weighs and the distance to the airport, but it wouldn't tell me how long it's going to take to get there. What I might want to do is the distance plus my velocity. How fast is my vehicle going? Then I'll know exactly how long it takes me to get to the airport. Well, this is what's going on with Spotify. People are using the wrong math. I hear these people talk about their payouts. How much do you get per stream on Spotify? If you're measuring that, that's like measuring the weight of the car to see how long it's going to take me to get somewhere. It's the wrong measurement. Right math, wrong measurement. The only thing you need to measure I'm clicking. The only thing you need to know about Spotify is how well you do in relationship to everyone else. So if you're that runner there, do you know who this is, by the way, in first place? Usain Bolt. I mean, he's the fastest man on the planet. He's so fast, and in big races, he just kind of stops to do this at the camera. He's so much faster than everyone else. And these guys are world-class athletes. So what if number 2 there in his red said, well, this week I ran faster than I did last week. So what? You still came in second place. You don't get the gold medal for coming in second. You only get it when you win the race. And this is what you need to think about Spotify. It doesn't matter how many streams you have. It doesn't matter how much per stream. It only matters how you did in relation to everybody else. Because in Spotify, there's a big pot of money. They get it from subscribers and they get it from advertisers. And they put all the money in there. And then at the end of the month, they want to divide it up. They don't ask how many streams you had. They ask how many streams you had compared to everyone else. So if you're Ed Sheeran, do you guys know who Ed Sheeran is? He's this redheaded kid from the UK. He's had 2 billion streams at Spotify. That's why he makes all the money. He's not complaining that Spotify doesn't pay out. He's not complaining at all because he makes the lion's share of the money. And by the way, Spotify at 12 million subscribers paying about $10 a month is 120 million a month times 12 months is 144. There's like over $1 billion that gets paid out to artists. So if you're one of the top ones, guess what? You make a lot of money. And if you're a top one, you don't look at your per stream rate. It doesn't matter. It just matters how you did compared to everyone else, because you can't listen to 2 songs at the same time. It's a competition. Ed Sheeran wants people to listen to him, which means he doesn't want them to listen to somebody else. Myth number, I don't know what number we're on. The next myth. This is really 2 myths in one. Retro is cool. It's not. I lived during this era. And vinyl is coming back. I know vinyl sales have gone up, and it's now accounts for something like 2% in certain countries. Vinyl sucks. Vinyl is the worst format ever. Ever. Old people, they have amnesia. They forget what it's like. And young people romanticize it. They think, oh, it must have been great back in the 70s and 80s. No, it wasn't great. It was terrible. The records skipped. They warped. You have to clean the needle all the time. You know, when I was a teenager, right, we would, maybe, should I say that? Oh, yeah. I would bring, let's say, a girl up into my bedroom. My parents weren't around. I was 16 years old. Put on an album, start playing it, start chatting. Just when I'm ready to make my move, 20 minutes are up. Sorry, hold that thought. I need to go change the record, flip it over, clean it, blow on the needle. It was terrible. We hated it. We preferred cassettes. We thought actually a cassette was a better format than an album. We couldn't wait for the CD to come, and we tossed out our vinyl. What we did, we threw them in the trash as fast as we could. That's why there's all these collectors on these markets, because everyone else threw away hundreds of millions of albums in the trash. We hated them. We couldn't get rid of them fast enough. Anybody can be successful in the music business. I mean, if this guy can do it, I guess you know who this guy is, huh? Well, I'd like to think that was the truth. But I did a little bit of research, and I was looking up, country by country, the number of gold and platinum records. And then I looked at how many people win the lottery. Guess which is a bigger number? People that have platinum records or people that win the lottery? It's the lottery. You have a better chance of winning the lottery than you do of having a platinum record. That's the word. So by the way, for those of you in the music industry, stop investing in your career and start buying lotto tickets. You know I'm looking at you. The internet brought us this whole DIY movement. You know DIY? Do it yourself? This, yeah, I can make my records and put them up on iTunes and market it on Facebook. DIY is dead. It does not work. I'm sorry. I know that a lot of people think that they can just do it, but you can't compete. The level is too high now. If everyone's doing it, which they are, sounds like when I first started smoking marijuana, everybody's doing it. No, I'm joking. Yeah, sorry. Everyone's doing it, but it doesn't work because everyone's doing it. The ones that work are the ones that have large teams around them. It's more sophisticated now than ever, and by the way, it's not free. It costs money to break a record. And there's actually a troubling scenario happening. I mean, if I'm saying that DIY is dead, and I have a company that is built on enabling artists and independent labels to grow, there's a really worrying trend that's happening around the world. This is from 2014, and it's the top 20 albums. And if you look down that column there, 100% of them are major labels. This is in the UK. And then I look at the top 20 singles, all major labels. And the top 20 streamed tracks, all the major labels. This is the world we're living in, that actually not only is DIY dead, but independent labels could be dying next, that they are shutting them out. There was a report that just came out for the first quarter of 2015. They looked at radio play across Europe. As long as radio still exists, it's not going to be here for long, so listen up. It's going away. So of the top 50 most played songs in Europe, not one of them was an independent artist. The top 50, every single one of them was a major label. So not only can't you do it yourself, I'm starting to question whether an independent label can even do it anymore. The next myth, anybody cares. Nobody cares. Do you know how much fucking music is out there? There's over 30 million songs in Spotify and iTunes. You go to YouTube, there's exponentially more music. Do you think the world needs more? You don't have enough music out there that we need more? Like, I don't know. Some of you raise your hand, you're in the music business. If any of you are kind of like trying to develop an app that's going to help unsigned bands, stop. Hopefully you're not, any of you in here? Or now you're not going to admit to it. But trust me, we don't need more. There's enough. There's plenty of music out there now, and just because everyone can doesn't mean everyone should, because the audience doesn't care. They want the best of the best. You know, what we're seeing now is actually those top artists pulling away from the pack. You know, they came out with the figures last year. Do you know the band One Direction? Yeah? Who listens to their music? Oh, very nice. 3 of you. But everyone's heard of them. So last year, each one of the members took 20 million pounds, British pounds, in salary. It's not all of their money, because they make money from records and touring and publishing and merchandise. That's just what they took out of the company. 5 members, back then, for those of you who know, we're down to 4, but those 5 members took 20 million pounds each. That's 100 million pounds. The Beatles never saw that kind of money. This world is stretching away. We only want the best of the best. It's like TV. TV's dead unless you're making Breaking Bad. Then I'll invest all my time in watching Breaking Bad. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad? You're not supposed to. It's not supposed to be legal in this country. Good thing the camera's on me, not you. Facebook friends are your fans. So all those artists that have these websites or these Facebook pages, their Facebook friends are not their fans. Sorry. Facebook friends are not fans. Facebook friends are friends. And I don't care whether you're in the music industry or any other industry. If you're setting up a professional profile, you have to treat them like friends. They're not fans. If I see one of my friends just selling whatever they do, I unfriend them. Like if they work in the insurance business and every week they're telling me I should buy health insurance and life insurance and car insurance, that's not a friend. My friends show selfies from their holiday. Yes, I've seen many of yours. Pictures of their food. They'll put silly cat videos. That's what friends do, right? Artists don't seem to understand this. You know, Coca-Cola. You guys know Coca-Cola, right? More than One Direction. I'm 50 years old. I know. I just turned 50 last week. I know, it's worthy of applause. But think about it. Think about, in my lifetime, how many advertisements for Coca-Cola do you think I've seen? Like, how many millions of TV commercials, billboards, things on the side of a bus? How many times do you think I've seen an advert for Coca-Cola? I don't even, it's so big of a number I can't even begin to calculate it. But I can tell you what I've never seen in any one of their advertisements. Carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, citric acid, caramel coloring. Not once have they ever told me what's in it. Red Bull, those delicious cans of poison that you mix with vodka. They just send a guy up to the edge of space and have him jump out. And you go, yeah, I'll drink one of those. But they don't sell their ingredients. What they sell is enjoyment and fun. But I see bands all the time. Here's my tour dates. Here's my new album. Just selling you all my ingredients. Piracy's all sorted now. We've now arrested people like this guy. Do you know him? Kim.com. Where was he? In New Zealand, Australia? And the helicopters came and like SWAT teams, came down on ropes into his house and arrested him. It was a big deal. We're stopping all the piracy. We're shutting down Pirate Bay. Peter Sund was just got out of jail. We get Kim.com. The only problem is these are kind of 90s problems. These BitTorrent sites and these peer-to-peer. I went onto the iTunes App Store recently, and I saw all these apps. I typed in the word music, showing results for music, and some of them I know. I know Spotify's up there and the BBC player, but I don't know a lot of these. I don't know this. No, on each page, 3, 4, 5, 6, page after page after page of these. Look at the one there that says, Christmas music, 10,000 free. That's being sold in the iTunes store. You know what? When I get an app download, the music industry has no idea what's inside of it. We're looking at, hey, let's shut down the Pirate Bay. Yeah, well, you missed that by a decade. Look what's happening on the mobile device. This is where we need to turn our focus. It's harder now for a band to make money. I mean, maybe it was easier back then, but it wasn't. How hard do you think it was for the Beatles to succeed? Or, during the MTV generation, yeah, you had these people succeed. It wasn't easier or harder. They had the identical competition. Miley comes up, she gets on Facebook, Twitter, sticks her tongue out. It's not easier or harder. I think people go, oh, back in the day, I could sell 10,000 CDs and make money. Really? That you could sell 10,000 CDs, okay. And how much did it cost you to record that album? Because back in the day when you could sell 10,000 CDs, if you sold 10,000 CDs, you didn't make enough money to cover the cost of the recording. And you certainly didn't cover the cost of marketing and promotion, which right now you think is a click of a button, you just send out an email to everyone, you update your status on Facebook. Well, that didn't exist back when people were selling 10,000 CDs and making all this money. The answer is the big artists make money, the others complain. Being at this conference, I hear so much about big data and analytics, and I'm a huge believer in it. But if you think your business is going to be driven by big data and analytics, it's only part of the story. You know who this kid is? Does anyone know? It's Kurt Cobain. Nirvana? There were no analytics to tell us whether he had talent. He hadn't written Smells Like Teen Spirit. You have to start with understanding greatness. Whatever business you're in, you start with greatness. And you have to identify it often before it's great. Can you identify whether it's a new business idea, a new artist? Can you identify something great and nurture it along? Data's not going to tell you how to do that or what to do. You use that after the fact. How much time do I have? I have no idea. I'm just chit-chatting. Does anyone know? All right. Well, because everyone else seemed like they had a clock or a counter, but I don't. So, I don't know. Just keep chatting? You still with me? Yeah? All right. You know who this guy is? What was he? The Secretary of Evil in the George Bush administration? I was not a fan of Donald Rumsfeld. I think it was Secretary of Defense. Matter of fact, there was nothing he said that I agreed with. I'm very left-wing liberal. He was right-wing conservative. Except the only thing he said I agreed with was the thing that everyone made fun of him. And I don't know if you guys heard of this. He talked about the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns. Does this ring a bell at all? People said, why did you invade Iraq and bomb the shit out of them, right? And we said, well, weapons of mass destruction, and which there weren't, right? We all agree there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. But he thought there were, and he said, that is a known unknown. Like, I know they're there, I just don't know where they are, right? He said, but what scares me most is the unknown unknowns. So there's things that I don't even know exist, let alone know where they are, and that's what scares me. And this is what I want to talk about just briefly before I wrap it up, is that this is the world we live in, that I think a lot of us are operating in a world of unknown unknowns. Like, our industry, and almost every industry, has moved to a new industry and we don't even know it. And that's scary, that we don't know it. In 1971, there was an economist named Herbert Alexander Simon. And so 1971, just imagine the period. Nobody has The web yet hasn't been invented. We still got 2 decades until the World Wide Web. There are no computers. But he had already begun to envision the world of the future. And what he said was, in an information-rich world, the wealth of information will mean the dearth of something else, a scarcity of whatever it is that information consumes. I'm going to slow it down. He envisions a world with a wealth of information. Sounds like today. It's all coming at us. Twitter feeds, status updates, everyone on their mobile phone. Look at this, info, it's all coming at, no, I'm not picking on you. It's all coming at us, right? But what it means is a scarcity is being created because of all the information. And it's not that there's just a scarcity. He's saying the information is consuming something. We think we're consuming information. He says it's the other way around. Information's consuming something. So what is it it's consuming? Our time and our attention. And he coined the phrase, the attention economy. And everything we're doing today is around the attention economy. All the businesses. YouTube doesn't care how many views a video has. They care, on average, how many minutes per week a subscriber stays on a channel. How many minutes a week I can get somebody. That's what Facebook cares about. That's what YouTube cares about. That's what Spotify cares about. So if I'm talking from the music business perspective, all I want to make sure is that I have somebody's attention for X number of minutes a day, a week, a month, because that is what turns into money. So I'm going to leave you on one final note. Anyone here play poker? Yeah. In poker, when you sit down at the table and there's other people, but everyone knows what poker is, even if you don't play it. You sit down at the table and there's all the players sitting around, right? And there's a saying in poker that if you don't know who the sucker at the table is, then it's you. And if you don't know who the sucker in the room is, that doesn't know exactly what's happening behind closed doors. So, thank you very much, everybody.